So I guess the era has changed and we have a new picture that I didn't notice last time. Unless it just changes every time I launch the game. That's also possible. Russia. So we have some tired ships in Northeast Asia. But we'll try to stick it out a little longer. Docks completed. We'll spend some more on docks. I'm going to lay down some more destroyers because I go through destroyers pretty fast. All things considered. And I also want to lay down... Oh, I guess not. We'll wait until next time to lay down another Connecticut. All right. Let's go. Start commissions. Baltimore is recovering. Russian subs on the loose. Cruiser action. Decline battle. Small engagement. They don't have enough ships. We've basically swept the seas of Russian ships. Right, there's that weird Russian capture of Mozambique, which confuses me. So let's send some ships over to Mozambique, which is East Africa. Franklin, a cruiser. Destroyers. Some light cruisers. To the Indian Ocean. Very well. No, I don't want to do that. A cruiser action. Cruiser action with an Oakland rather than one of my fine new cruisers. Very well. Oh, also apparently my taskbar is open. All right. But with the improved director and the better guns, we'll be fine against probably anything they throw against us. Unless it's like 4 ships. But it seems unlikely. Remember what I just said? Is it a pair of destroyers or is it a destroyer and a cruiser? Let's see. It's a pair of destroyers. Alright, we probably won't catch them. Unless they're slow destroyers. I'm sort of scared of torpedoes, but we'll press the attack. And it's night. Perfect time for a torpedo attack, which is exactly what that looked like. So we'll come about. Did we have a turret jam? Probably. Yes, our forward turret was jammed because of course it was. So we can't even fire up. Until we get broadside. All right, that's one down. Forward turret is back in action. Evading. Man, that sank just in time. We were about to come into torpedo coverage. And no 7 6-inch guns and no hits. Still no hits. All right, at some point this will start sinking as well. There we are. No ships left. So they didn't land a single hit. All good. A minor battle. All right, those are almost done. Damage control improvements, AP shell improvements. Just in time for those ships to come into service because we lost 2 minesweepers. Cruiser action. Oh, looks like we might actually get some real ships this time. A Princeton and a Bunker Hill, or a Franklin. I can't remember whether Bonhomme Richard is a... I think it's Franklin. Oh no, they're both Princetons. Sweet. Okay. Excellent. I'm good with them both being Princetons. They're being our current best ship afloat. And it's a twilight action, which means it will rapidly become a night action. At some point we will blunder on the enemy. Yeah, I guess they set it up for a day action, but... Oh, is it? It's December in the northern latitudes, so it's a very long night. It's twilight at 3 p.m. Feels like the Seattle winters. All right, let's haul up to 28 knots. Come about 10 degrees to starboard. They've turned, so we'll turn the other way. Them good old 16-inch guns. Pobda class, Victory. 10 14-inch guns, 14-inch belt, 3.5-inch deck. Not a bad ship, all things considered. 2/3 are displacement, so what happened to Princeton? Critical hit, bridge destroyed. They got a single lucky... Jeepers creepers. A single lucky 14-inch hit on Princeton that took out the entire bridge. Wow. That's quite an opening shot. Stupid night actions. Also, I wouldn't have thought a 14-inch would pierce the conning tower, but I guess there were staff on the open bridge. All right, Princeton has made it back onto the division. All right, and we will now proceed to pound it to smithereens. Well, we got some kind of crit, because it's slowed down to about 5 knots. We'll come down to 22 knots. All right, Princeton's getting some hits in. So we're going to send our destroyers in to ward off that enemy destroyer. Especially because it's about to be nightfall. Like the speed back to 20 knots. That's fine. And come hard about to starboard to avoid the torpedoes that we know are coming. All right, we'll put fanning back on AI because it's driven that destroyer away. That was nice of it. This doesn't have torpedo tubes, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. Bunch of fish going towards it. Oh, yes. All right, and we'll go herring off after the destroyer because this thing is not long for this world. With 3 fish hits and taking a 16-inch pounding. All right, and that's it. We sank the battlecruiser and the destroyer. Light damage on 2 destroyers and that single crit that knocked Princeton out of the fight for a bit. 100,000 points. Yay, ship ball, score points. Win points. I can't remember the expression. All right. Nope. All right. Fresh from her recent sinking of a battlecruiser, Von Richard is now off to sink a raider. Hopefully fast enough to catch a raider. Hopefully it's not just a rando destroyer that can outrun us. Unknown ship sighted. Come up to 29 knots. Bells for flank speed. Let's see what we have. It's going that way. It's turning tail. Come about a little further. Let's run and see what happens. Armored cruiser? Okay. Could be a BC. It's yet another one of those big light cruisers. Come on, we can get a hit in. There we go. That's good. We got a 16-inch hit in. And another. We found the range. And 2 more. All right, so that is now an X cruiser. All right, now we're hitting it with 5-inch guns. Oh no, that was 16-inch guns, and we got a lot of 16-inch hits. Ugh. That's ridiculous. It was almost a draw because a submarine managed to get a fish into me while I wasn't actually even playing. So ridiculous. Right. And Bonhomme Richard is now in the dock for a month. Because of course it is. All right. Battleship engagement. Sure thing. They decline battle. Convoy attack. Why not? They decline battle. What do they even have left? They're building a dreadnought. They have a truly ancient pre-dreadnought style battlecruiser. Can burn 4 12-inch guns, 24 knots. It's basically kindling. They have a single one of the Ismails, 11 14-inch guns. That's not that bad. They have Fokshani, 9 14-inch. Considerably less armor, but otherwise a match for the Yorktowns. They're building an actually good dreadnought, and they have a bunch of cruisers and other assorted things. And good God, do they have a lot of submarines. That's why they keep sinking stuff. Well, hopefully they'll capitulate at some point. The Army always fails at this, but I feel like we should give them money in case they would fail even worse otherwise. And this is not going to be so nice because it's one of our ancient Oaklands. But there's no way I'm going to let the AI fight this because it might lose. It's the end of March. So we'll have a little bit more daylight. Ship sighted. Go up to 30 knots. Identified as CL. What even is that class? Only 23 knots. 8 6-inch guns. Alright, so we should be fine. So the tragic irony, however, is that because of its wing turrets, it actually has a 3-to-1 advantage in a stern chase. But we have overwhelming advantage. We have a decent advantage in broadside. Not overwhelming, because we only have 7 broadside to its 5. But it's only making 20 knots. So I'll get a little closer, and then I'll come about to unmask some. Oh, or we could do that. Yep, we can totally do that. How are they getting early hits in on our secondary battery? That's not great. All right, that rapid turn cost us. That brought us down to 17 knots. Whereas their speed we estimate to be 20 knots still. Don't really understand how they can maintain high speed after the turn and we don't, but them's the brakes. On fire, so there's lots of smoke. All right, we're maintaining our course in the hope that eventually our broadside turrets will get unmasked. All right, now let's come about. Okay. I think we're done here. Yep, we're done here. Man, our budget is in shambles. So we'll halt our 2 capital ships. Fighting continues in Mozambique. Cruiser action battle in support of land combat. Sure thing. Alright, so let's send some more units down to help in Mozambique. Indian Ocean. All right. We'll alternate month on, month off. We took Mozambique. It is now flying the Stars and Stripes, which is a weird thing. So yes, we'll see how this goes. I'll pause this again. Coastal Raid. Cruiser action. They're either declining battle or they don't have ships. Okay. I really don't care what their minesweepers are like. Oh, come on. It's torpedoed and sunk one of our precious, precious heavy cruisers. We intercept another raider. That's so ridiculous. I hate submarines so much. Where did we spy it? Oh, right off our bow. Okay. Goodbye, cruiser. Yes, as an 8,900-ton light cruiser, you do not want to blunder into a 50,000-ton battle cruiser. Sorry, 52,000-ton battle cruiser in the middle of a rain squall at like 8,000 yards. Goodbye. All right, we'll come right about because we don't want to get close to torpedoes. That was fast. Well, good we're building more of those cruisers, but geez, that was annoying. Finally, we get hydrostatic pistols. Battleship engagement, they decline battle. Convoy attack, they decline battle. Coastal raid, they decline battle. Cruiser action, they decline battle. Okay, at some point, they have to just, like, surrender or something, right? So we'll build another Pittsburgh, because one sank. New docks complete. All right, I'm going to lay down some more minesweepers because, yeah. So let's put some of these destroyers on coastal patrol, and then move some of these new destroyers to Northern Europe to make up for it. Okay. All right, finally more cruisers are coming done. And I'll lay down a light cruiser too. Wow, they actually were able to muster some ships for this. I'm impressed. I'm gobsmacked. And it's early morning, which means we have enough daylight that we can fight a daylight action, which will be very nice. All right, so it's our same battlecruiser division as before. Hopefully Princeton will not take another bridge hit in the opening salvo of the engagement. Oh, that looks like a decent level engagement. All right, I'm going to guess that that's a battlecruiser. Yep, guessed right. All right, they're well within our engagement envelope. In fact, I probably should... Oh, is that one? No, that's one of the 912. Oh, that's the last of the. All right. Well, we're probably not even in 12-inch gun range, even though we're well within 16-inch range. I was worried it was going to be one of their 14s. Yeah, sure, this is decent. We'll just stay on this course. And just pound it down. We got some kind of crit. All right, let's take this off. And send the destroyers in. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That was fast. All right, they did light damage to a destroyer. That was the sum total of the engagement. Okay. Our budget is just about to top $1 billion. So close. I'll lay down a few more destroyers. And another light cruiser. Unexpected battle. So unexpected that they didn't have any ships. Hey, Narcot Planner. Yeah, the war is going pretty well. Sure is. Sure and certain is. All right, so let's send you to Northern Europe while the rest of the cruisers are working up. Memphis finishes working up. Improved counterflooding. We have better damage control. Fleet battle. No ships. Convoy attack. Wow, they actually have a ship. I'm shocked. It's missed. Sighting range is like night. So we have to find their convoy and blow it up real good. Okay. NorCal Planner, that's correct. To be fair, Yamato was somewhere on the order of, what, 67, 69,000 tons? Yeah. Just shy of 70,000 tons standard displacement. And long tons, obviously. 71,000 metric tons. Yamato is an outlier only because everybody else was treaty bound. I mean, the G3s were going to be 45,000 tons or so. Like Montana's were obviously rather more than 45,000 tons. Yeah, Montana's were like 63,000 tons. I mean, basically the actual outliers were that everything was treaty limited to 35,000 tons. Like the actual plans before the Washington Naval Treaty were, you know, in the 45 to 50,000 ton range, and probably would have been in the mid-20s. It's not implausible to think that in a treatyless world it'd be in the 60,000 tons in the 30s. As can be seen from the country that ignored the treaty doing exactly that. All right, so I guess we wait until we sight the convoy, because I don't have controls over things. It's a ship. So both of these are Tycho class. 12 14-inch guns, 27 knots. Yeah, I mean, had the U.S. So the interesting thing about that is, on the one hand, had the U.S. actually been engaging in a bunch of wars in the first few decades of the 20th century, then yes, the money spigots would have been flowing. But on the other hand, the fleet would have been far more balanced. Like, I'm not convinced that we actually would have built that many more battleships. The point of the U.S. Navy up until, which was why we laid down so many destroyers in World War I, is that the U.S. Navy was hilariously imbalanced. It was so top-heavy. It was ridiculously top-heavy, basically because battleships were shiny. They were the prestige ship. So we built a lot of them, and we didn't particularly care about destroyers, let alone cruisers. I mean, we had almost no real modern cruisers. Yes. Yes, they were perfect American ships, basically. Whereas the Royal Navy had absolutely the best light forces in the world in World War I, because they were used to fighting actual battles and worried about fighting an actual war, and in fact did fight an actual war. So they actually had good light forces. I think we found the convoy. Is that more convoy, or is that their close escort? Let's swing out and see. Just more transports. Okay. I wonder where their escort is. Ah, there's a single AMC over there. Okay. I'm going to keep my speed up. Oh, there's an actual AMC down here. I'm going to keep my speed up just in case there's something with torpedoes hanging around. We do not want to be going slowly if there's anything afloat with torpedoes in the area. All right, we'll cut through so that both sides secondaries are engaged. All right. I was super worried for a second, but then I realized that must have been our torpedo. That torpedo missed. Oh, okay. That was fast. They landed not a single hit. We sank 7 transports. Well, I guess 6 transports and an AMC. They had a submarine in the area, and there were 4 land targets that we could have bombarded, but whatever. Okay, so that was about the same VP I'd get had they declined a serious battle. We've broken $1 billion in budget. Yay! We can all order expensive paper clips now. I love that Connecticut is still 27 knots. This is such a good ship. This is basically, this is my Iowa with 16-inch 50s, 9 of them. Not as well armored as Iowa, for sure. I think Iowa had rather more deck than that. Yeah. Yeah, it had a 1.5-inch decapper and a 6-inch main deck, and then 3/4-inch splinter deck. So we sum all that up. That's about 8 inches of deck, which is just unbelievable. You can't really do that in this game with the tech you have. And also, that's not 8 inches of Krupp equivalent. That's 8 inches of late 1930s face-hardened armor. So it'd probably be more like 12, 13 inches of in-game deck. The belt was 12 inches of like late 30s armor, which is probably about 16, 17 inches of this armor. So my belt is a bit stronger. No, they just have a generic shape for all hulls, and they don't track seakeeping at all, which is a shame. Spring Sharp wood. If you haven't played with Spring Sharp, I encourage anybody watching this video, if you haven't played around with Spring Sharp, you should. Spring Sharp is a wonderful, wonderful tool for designing ships. I've spent considerable time designing out quite a fleet of ships in Spring Sharp. Doesn't really work for destroyers because they get some of their speed by planing, but cruisers and up, Spring Sharp does very well. All right, so I guess we'll lay down finally the second of my actual battleships. The first Dreadnought battleships I've built in this game, because I've just built battlecruisers, because speed. You've seen in all my battles the importance of speed. It's incredibly important, because otherwise they get away. All right. Huron has finished working up. Pittsburgh has finished working up. Decapping belt. Weight savings. We lost a destroyer to a mine. We lost some merchant ships. Man, is Connecticut going to finish before the war ends? Inquiring minds want to know. So we have more heavy cruisers we can send. To Northern Europe. Actually, let's see, where are their raiders anyway? South American West Coast. Let's send one to the South American West Coast. Why not? Chase down that cruiser. Sure, we'll sell it to the British. That's a remarkably undergunned ship for 42,000 tons. 17-inch belt. It's good deck armor, but man, is it undergunned. 12, 13-inch guns. That's Northeast Asia. They can't muster the ships. All right. Seattle commissions. We'll sell to the British. Good. Whoops, we actually have a thing. A single heavy cruiser. It's funny how, as America, I basically end up building American ships. Partly because in the early 1940s, we basically were just building probably the best ships. I mean, not least by dint of having effectively unlimited resources, but like Iowa was, due to technology, probably the best ship of her kind to float. And I would take the Brooklyns and the Clevelands over their equivalents in basically any navy. Certainly I'd take a Des Moines over anything with those sweet automatic 8-inch guns. The Des Moines were super impressive ships. All right. This will not take very long. I thought it was at least going to be a cruiser, but apparently it's just a destroyer. Okay. Okie doke. All right, we've now researched all the techs here, so that can go down to low. We've researched all the text there, that can go down to low. We've researched all the text there. All right. We lost another destroyer to a mine. They still are not coming to the peace table for... We lose 2 more minesweepers. All right, put some more ships on coastal patrol. Chattanooga and Raleigh Commission. Seattle finishes working up. They keep trying. Fleet battle. They decline. Cruiser action. They decline. Enemy coastal raid. Really? They're raiding the eastern seaboard. Okay. Well. Oakland and Oakland. Yuck. Yeah, I don't know really why they're doing this, but also supposedly we have a battlecruiser in the area, and yet I sure didn't get a battlecruiser in this order of battle. I got 2 clapped out cruisers. Ah, there's 2 actually good cruisers, but they're in the support division. Why didn't they? Yeah. Where is the support force anyway? Ah, over there. All right. Well, let's see if we can find ourselves some enemy ships. All right, we have a contact report over there. All right. Well, let's sprint over there. They will, of course, sink whatever they chanced upon. Or lose. They could also lose. Did they blunder into a shore battery? What happened? Oh, they blundered into a destroyer division. Lol. Log entries. Oh my goodness. So basically, so in the first salvo, USS Nicholson lands a 5-inch hit that pierces the belt and hits the engine room and slows her. Then 3 minutes into combat, one of her 6-inchers lands an actual hit. Sorry, one of her 4-inchers, because it's a light cruiser with 4-inch guns. 8 of them. So it's basically 2 destroyers on 7,100 tons. That makes no sense. It is 33 knots, however. All right. And then 4 minutes into battle, a 5-inch gun pierces her belt and blows her magazine. That's just... wow. Okay. Yeah, 7,100 tons, and all she has is 8 4-inch guns. Not even super firing. That's sad. Whereas Nicholson took 1 4-inch hit. So basically, our destroyer was firing, had 4 5-inch guns against, if they crossed their T, literally 2 4-inch guns from the cruiser. Yes, there's definitely going to be a Medal of Honor going out to Nicholson, skipper. Okay, well, that was interesting. I love these destroyers. These destroyers are the best. They're basically proto-Fletchers. They have 1 fewer 5-inch gun than a Fletcher, but similar torpedo armament. About the same speed. Oh, I have double... Right, I think I have double... Can I do this now? Yes. Yes, I can. We can make a Sumner class. Yep. So we can give it 1 more 5-inch gun and double its forward firepower. Yes, these are definitely oil-fired. And let's get more main gun ammunition. We'll stay with 1 director. All right. So we'll have 1 more class of destroyer. However, I will edit it so it's back to 36 knots. Because I would totally make it 36 knots. It's just this doesn't go beyond 35, which is annoying. And we got lucky with Stuart. So I'll just make the edit because I kind of want to make the edit. All right. Let's see if that works. It should work. We probably could have redesigned it and saved a little bit of the design cost, but it's fine. All right, and we can gradually replace some of our older Stuarts with those. The government has collapsed. The Tsar has been executed. They have been forced to accept harsh peace conditions. We win a crushing victory. Pick ships as reparations. Wow. But I don't want any of their ships. All their ships suck. I've never actually won a government collapse victory before, so. I don't actually want any of their ships. They can keep their ships. But I don't want a ship. Allowed value 80. Alright, so we're totally taking all the things. I would think the budget is considerably reduced. But we now finally have basing rights in Northern Europe. Because Finland is a U.S. protectorate, as are the Baltic states, and we took Kamchatka. Oh, NorCal Planner, you're absolutely right. I should have taken it as reparations and then scrapped it. I was not thinking. Wow, that was a crushing victory. I was thinking about taking the Minesweepers, actually, but I realized I wanted my own Minesweepers because they're actually better, and then I only have to deal with one class. All right, so step one, we're going to scrap all the old cruisers. Just gone. Gone, gone, gone. Even though we just rebuilt them. That's cool. I never hit that event before. This game has stuff that surprises me even now. This game is so good. I love this game so much. It hits the spot. All right. So now all of these things go into mothballs. Then there's a big bunch of old destroyers. So I think what I'll do is I'll scrap the good ones and keep the elite ones. And build out a bunch of Jenkins. That's an awful lot of destroyers to rebuild. Maybe I don't necessarily want to do this. I think I don't want to do this because there's an awful lot of destroyers to rebuild. How many of that is that? That's 4, 8, and then 4, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there's 27 of the things. It will take me a while to build 27 destroyers. NorCal Planner, that's exactly what I'm doing. Notice that I've only got the 1918 ones. Oh, you mean the year launched? Yeah, we can do that. But they're the one, that whole class is all the same, and they all have the weaker directors. But And also, I think I want to scrap the Yorktowns, which are now kind of death traps. I mean, not really, because they still have 14-inch guns, but they have not much in the way of belt and deck. So that leaves the 4 Independence-class ships, which are also obsolete, but are not actually death traps, because they have a 14-inch belt. What I'd really like to do is get rid of everything with 14-inch guns, like all these ships. So what I'll do is I'll mothball them. I'll bring them all back to the West Coast and then mothball them. And then as more modern ships come online, we will begin to scrap them. Which is a shame because Independence is elite, but Independence is 10 years old. And I just wouldn't really want... So, for example, let's look at France. I really wouldn't want to take those ships up against 12, 15-inch guns. Let's look at Japan. Okay, fine. They're fine on the West Coast. If that's the best that Japan can do, then they're fine on the West Coast. Germany, our traditional adversary, 14-inch guns, 12-inch belt. Yeah, so I guess we can mothball these. So we'll send everything in the Indian Ocean back to the West Coast. We'll send everything in Northeast Asia back to the West Coast. And we'll send everything in Northern Europe back to the East Coast. And we'll leave Stanford in Southeast Asia. Now we have a lot of things to halt. So we're going to scrap the Stuarts we were building. Even though they were fairly close to being done, because I want my Jenkins. All right, we'll pause construction of all those ships and let the almost done ships continue. And all right, let's go. Denver commissions. Hey, didn't I tell you to go home? Where's South American West Coast? West Coast, East Coast, the Caribbean. Oh, no, it's still there. All right. Okay, now we can unpause a ship. I guess we can unpause 2 ships. Yes, our budget was almost halved. We went from $1 billion down to only $657 million a year. Insufficient ships on foreign station. Okay, well, I guess Pittsburgh is going to foreign station. New docks complete. Chattanooga and Raleigh have finished working up. Whatever. We can tweak Great Britain's nose. They'll be allied with us for a while. They can take it. We'll build some more docks. I'm not going to take another Great Britain pretension hit, though, even if it is a prestige point. I'm not going to insult our ally. All right, I guess I have to hold something again. That is an ill-fated name. All right, let's do a little bit of reorganization here. So we have 3 modern battlecruisers and another 3 nearly modern battlecruisers on the East Coast. We have 6 outdated but still fairly potent. What? Open design for rebuild, not open design. Why is there so much weight remaining? That's deeply confusing. I guess because of turret. I don't know why. Can we upgun the thing? A valid combination of the turret are 2 guns. All right, fine. We could. Can we change secondaries? Yes, it will let us change secondaries. Will it let us increase secondaries? Sorry, apparently my headphones run out fast now, so it will let us increase secondaries. Good. We can't do anything about the armor. We can up the turret armor at least. We can't change the TDS, even if we bulge. We could replace machinery and try to make them faster, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I want to wait until we have quality 117-inch guns. And then it might be reasonable to do this. They'd still be under-armored. Pretty pitiful deck. But they'd at least have the range to fight in line of battle with more modern ships. So we're thinking about. Let's look at the Tychos. Same deal. So the rest of what we were doing. All right, we have decent cruiser coverage on both coasts. Let's move 2 of the light cruisers to the west coast. Destroyers, west coast. Take a bunch of these and move them to Southeast Asia. Let's take another bunch, especially because we're building more. Move them to the Caribbean. And lastly, let's take a bunch of the actually modern ones and move them to the west coast. All right. Connecticut commissions. Sure, we'll sell to the British. We'll resume its sister ship, Colorado. Saratoga commissions. Now we can unpause a couple more of the cruisers. And I'll lay down another of the actually no, I'll lay down more destroyers. That's what we need to do, is we need to modernize our destroyers. Sure, we'll buy a tech. Not that I use submarines, but always interested in buying a tech. We'll sell to the attempt. We'll improved watertight hatches. Okay. More dockside increases. Protest against Japan. Better torpedoes. Dock size increasing literally every month. All right, so that's at low already. That's at low. That's at low. We've almost finished there. Don't care about that. Care about that. That can go to low now. And come on, give us better guns. We'll lay down another couple of destroyers. Bad Russia, bad. They're better at the cyber. Let us check our almanac. So, our naval budget is higher than Great Britain's for sure, and it is more than double anyone else's. It's triple Italy's. More than triple Italy's. It's like 4 times Italy's. Alright. We have 1 dreadnought in service and 1 building, a sixth of Great Britain's tonnage. So we still are definitely outweighed by the Royal Navy. They have a lot of dreadnoughts, and they're building some actually modern ones. Germany and Italy are the only other nations that have heavy cruisers. For light cruisers, we have rather more tonnage than everybody else. Looks like Japan has some serious business. Destroyers. That's pretty ridiculous. The destroyer numbers are quite ridiculous. But I do like me some destroyers. Actually, I wanted to look at what Great Britain's light cruisers are like. Do they have any actually decent light cruisers? That's not a bad light cruiser. 33 knots, 8 6-inch guns, 1-inch belt. That's shockingly low. Japan was the other power I wanted to look at. Only 4 6-inch guns, 32 knots, 4,900, not much belt. Alright, so our light cruisers are basically armored cruisers compared to that. Also, I wanted to look at their... So look at that. Let's look at Great Britain's dreadnought lineup. Does it have anything decent? 12 15-inch guns, 25-inch guns, 25 knots, 13.5-inch belt. That's really not that bad. On 35,000 tons, that's really not that bad. That's a good ship. On the battlecruiser side, Hood, 45,800 tons. 12 16-inch guns on these things. Not terribly well armored, but 27 knot, almost 40,000 tons, 12 16-inch guns. Those would be pretty powerful. Happily, we're allied to Great Britain, and we always will be, because I'm not stupid. New docks complete. Great Britain didn't like that we increased our spending. That's a shame. We'll lay down another 2 dreadnoughts. Arg. We didn't have any forces in area, so they ignored us. Very historical of them. I guess I'll halt construction on one of those dreadnoughts for now. Currently baffled by face hardening. That's charming. All right, I think that's about as much dockyard expansion as I really care to do. 70,000 tons will be enough. And private expansion will take it the rest of the way. Not that there's much to build for the big ships. The game is over. I can keep playing, though. Of course we're going to play on. Because this is modded. Because of course I'm playing a modded game. 66 prestige. Not bad. Let's lay down some more destroyers. And I probably should also lay down more of those minesweepers. And yeah. Well, I care less about Italy taking the place and more about the tension increase. Yes, Russia was stupidly getting uppity again, even though they basically don't have any ships. I mean, that's not fair. They will have an actually modern force of 5 decently modern battle cruisers. Well, with the exception of this. This is not a modern battle cruiser. It's not, well, it's not horrible. Yeah, they still have a non-trivial fleet. I mean, not a fleet that can stand up to the US of A, but it's non-trivial. Yeah, why not? It's war! War with Japan. We haven't fought Japan yet. Of course it's a surprise attack, because Japan. That is Japan. So the US's superpower is industrial growth. Britain's superpower is they start the game rich. Japan's superpower is they get to do surprise attacks. So we just have a heavy cruiser and some destroyers, which are about to get creamed by a dreadnought, 2 battle cruisers, and 5 light cruisers. And yeah, we can't even make steam for a little while. Of course, it's night as well. There's a land target in the middle of... Oh, it's... Yeah. I guess that's supposed to represent Bataan. I guess this is Bataan. I don't actually know my Philippine geography that well. I guess this is supposed to be Corregidor in the middle of Manila Bay. Anyway, at some point we'll get underway. Sighting report. A dreadnought. Great. There's a patrol boat out there. It's a destroyer. Hopefully we can fight back now. Stamford doesn't have any steam up. But it looks like we've opened fire, even if our speed is still 0. Raising steam. 4 minutes left. All right, we've almost got... The surprise attack was actually possibly a mistake for Japan. Now we've got some steam raised. Speed 1 knot. Now the battle's going to commence. Coastal battery hits unknown ship. All right, I assume it's this coastal battery, because I don't see what other one it could be. So we'll just make our course for it. And see what happens. That other destroyer division is just not picking up the pace. There we go. Like, the Corregidor we know and love was not, because I think it was built earlier. But certainly there must have been, by 1925, some sort of coastal battery in Manila Bay. Like, something. All right, so that installation is destroyed, but are they retreating or are they hanging out? Unknown ship opens fire at DD. Which destroyer? That is the question. Which destroyer? Is there something up here that I don't know about? Those are all the old sighting reports. I don't know what's going on. Target straddled. one hit. Which destroyer? I'm just not seeing it. That's so weird. I can't double click on it to zoom. Alright. So there's those destroyers. The other destroyer division is these 3 ships. And then coastal forces. There's a patrol boat over here. And there's a shore battery way the heck out there. Well, I don't know. Ah, now we see an unidentified ship. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, okay. We'll see what we can do with the destroyers. I really doubt that's actually a pre-dread. They'd be insane to send a pre-dread. But we'll see what we can do about taking care of that dreadnought with our destroyers. Even though one of our destroyer divisions is stuck way back there, annoyingly. Let's put it on screen. Alright, so it looks like Parker took a hit. No, Trip. Trip definitely took a hit. Yep. Yeah, Trip took a bad hit. Ah, it's a battle cruiser. That's what's going on. So, 29 knots, 10 12-inch guns. Fuji class dreadnoughts, 25 knots, 12 13-inch guns. All right, so we are going to make a run on the battleship. That stupid destroyer division is still out of the fight. And it'd be real nice if it were not out of the fight. But we'll see if we can get some fish off. Meanwhile, the cruiser will continue to just harry their destroyers and try to not get plinked. Yeah, of course it is. Alright, so some fish have... We launched some fish. They're missing. Oh, but we hit a cruiser, so that's fine. Why did they launch on the cruiser instead of the dreadnought? That's weird. Oh, look at that. That's some fish launched on the dreadnought. Missed, though. Yeah, so we're going to lose basically all the destroyers in that division. Desron 8, Desdiv 8 is not controllable by me, it looks like. Still. So we're just going to sink that light cruiser. We're not actually going to get a fish into the dreadnought. That sucks. But it's understandable. All right, so Stamford just got pounded by the dreadnought. She's still at 33 knots, but turret destroyed. So let's try to sink that light cruiser and then call it a day. Lawrence was just... Lawrence is definitely getting pasted. Stamford critical hit. They got... All right. Oh, Stamford critical hit in the machinery. Uh-oh. I guess we should have run when we had the chance, because this is not going to end well. Yep. Goodbye, USS Stamford. At least now this other destroyer division is in the fight, but it's not actually going to do much. Because for some unknown reason, one is at 18 knots and one is at 4 knots. Ah, that's 29 knots. All right, so let's see what the AI does with them. Oh, now I can take them off AI, finally. That was weird. O'Brien and Casson. Where's Casson? Oh, Casson is way back there. I don't know why I was at 4 knots. All right. That destroyer is stuck under AI control for no reason I can discern. Let's go to line ahead. Does Casson have an engineering casualty? No, it's just slow. Oh, just a turret jam. All right. Why isn't the formation changing? Line ahead. All right. Come on, Casson, form up. Let's come down to 30 knots so Casson can catch up. What is Casson doing way the heck over there? It's at 27 knots. Is it just like not trying to catch up or something? Oh, turn together was off. It was on, that's why. That's more like it. All right, well, it wasn't completely one-sided. We took out a destroyer and a light cruiser. All right, let's let Casson catch up. Oh, the flagship. Shoot. These are going to also be out of sight of the flagship because the flagship is over here and sinking. Is there any way we can change flag? Probably not. Ship is not sufficiently damaged to detach. It's sinking. That's remarkably stupid. I want to switch my flag. I thought there was a way to switch flag, but I think there is not. Oh well. I'll put it on independent. And have them engage the foe. All right, let's see what the AI does. It runs away. Great. Not real sure why. Well, let's watch what happens. It launches a fish. The fish is going to miss. All right, well, that's about it. All right, so that was fairly brutal. We did sink a light cruiser and a destroyer, but we lost most of our total force in Southeast Asia. Enemy major victory, lose 1 prestige. All right. Well, that was a massive increase in the naval budget, wasn't it just? So, congratulations everyone, you're no longer mothballed. Good I didn't scrap all those destroyers. "19 of 32. Where did all the other minesweepers go? I'm building 4. So we'll send all the modern destroyers there. Put a bunch of these on coastal patrol. We'll move the elite ones to Northeast Asia. And we have a lot of coastal patrol requirements, don't we? All right, and then move those to Northeast Asia. Move this to Northeast Asia. And then take the elite ships from the Atlantic Fleet and send them to Northeast Asia. then send one to Southeast Asia instead. Then a bunch of Minneapolis cruisers. Northeast Asia. All right, that should do for move orders. Let's resume construction on that. Let's replace our lost cruisers. And then build a whole bunch of destroyers. And also a whole bunch of minesweepers. All right. Let's go. Well, all right. We don't have much choice. We get 2 destroyers, and they probably have like a battlecruiser or some crap. Let's see what we can do with just 2 destroyers. .36 knots. Let's cut them off. Light cruiser. Now, if memory serves, their light cruisers are like worse than our destroyers, so I'm not too fussed about light cruisers. Except that they have armor and we don't, which means they get a hit in and we're in trouble. Uh-oh. That was not the only ship. That was the scout cruiser. For the actual ships. Uh-oh. I mean, expected, because we don't really have anything here, and they still have all the forces they just slapped me around with. Yep. O'Brien is still making her time. She's taking 2 medium hits. some structural damage. Forward turret is disabled, but not slowed in any way. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put a fish in the capital ship, like last time. It's a destroyer screen, Mimasaka class. It's the ship that sank Stamford. Let's see if we can make it. Nope, we took a crit. Come on, launch your fish. Oh, I'm well aware you have too much flotation damage, but you still should get some fish off. Dagnabbit. Nope. Aw, yes. It won't sink her, but it's worth it. Yeah, only 32,000. It's 32,000 tons, so a single fish won't sink her like it would a 15,000 ton pre-dread. But, all right. That was literally about all they could do. And now they're going to go and destroy that convoy. But there was not really much else I could do. Heavy rain gives our convoy a chance to escape. Their sacrifice was hopefully not in vain. Yep, the convoy was undamaged. We sank the battle cruiser. Wow, a single torpedo. Wow, Japanese damage control is just bad in any timeline, clearly. For the sacrifice of 2 destroyers, we sank a battle cruiser and our convoy survived. Wow. That was truly epic. Hashtag remember their names. It was my own little battle off Samara, I guess. Wow. That was, I did not expect that to happen. I thought we would just damage her a bit, but all right, now I actually have to look at the details. Mimasaka sinking. Log entries. Main battery scores hits. We got a 5-inch hit. Got another 5-inch hit. 5-inch hit. And then they get a bunch of hits. We hit the engine room. They limited flooding a lot, but so they continue to plink. Machinery repaired. but they didn't limit flooding enough, and they had a little bit of flooding left, and they sank. I guess they had, like, no TDS, probably. Not much deck armor at all, either. Where can I see what TDS level? Oh, and they have sucky 12-inch guns as well. Huh. Wow. I'm amazed. I did not expect that battle to go like that, but clearly Arleigh Burke himself was leaving that destroyer division. Gained 2 prestige. So good. All right, and I guess we have to send some actual forces. All right, so we'll send the Tychos down. And a cruiser. And some destroyers. All right. And we have to put one more thing on Coastal Patrol. All right. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Great Britain. All right, we now have decent forces in the area. And it's missed. This is the second time we've had a convoy attack in mist. I don't understand it. All right, so 3 of the Independence class battlecruisers, which will outmatch kind of anything they have. What's in the van? 2 heavy cruisers. Okay. 2 modern 33 knot heavy cruisers. Unknown ship sighted. Over there. Okay. We'll keep it 32 knots so the division mate can stay with, and take the battlecruisers up to 26 knots. And off it goes into the mist again. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. That's a battle division, if I ever saw one. Oh yes. That's 3 battle cruisers. Why did what happened to United States? Oh, she just sucks at turning. Okay. It's not a critical hit problem. It's a USS United States can't turn in battle line. God, that's close range. Mishima class, 12 inch. Ikoma class, I think, is the weak one. Oh, not that weak. 9 12-inch. I don't know what the last one is. Meanwhile, we'll work the cruisers around to the other side. And start sinking transports. All right. We're doing good work. All turrets in action. All turrets in action. All turrets in action. All right. So we're fully unmasked. Cat among the pigeons. And how? That's annoying. That nobody's even firing on that thing. I do not trust those cruisers under AI control. But them's the breaks. It's Kuba class. Why is it coming up as Ikoma class? That's weird. This is why I didn't want them on AI control. Because Rochester is now heavily damaged. She's taking a lot of flooding. Actually, no, we'll come about this way. High speed increases flooding. You idiot of an AI. Slow her down so she doesn't sink. Oh, but our damage control is good enough that I think we'll be okay. What I'm more worried about is taking torpedo hits from all those destroyers. Idiot of an AI. Buffoon of buffoon of buffoon. Alright, Rochester's keeping at 14 knots at least. Flooding is, yeah, our damage control parties are doing their work. So basically we do indeed have US damage control. Alright, unless the AI is catastrophically stupid, Rochester will survive. Alright, we're going to give chase. Oh, come on, I just turned. That's a lot of flooding, and she's down to 16 knots. Not so good. I should think you're avoiding torpedoes. It's a little late for that now, though. What? That was pretty ridiculous. Well, this suddenly became an even engagement. I guess I got so used to beating on Russia that I'm not really used to a pure opponent. But wow, it's weird that a single torpedo hit sank Essex. How's the United States doing? Flooding is coming under control. She's still at 16 knots, but she doesn't have to go fast as long as these things get slowed. Of course, Independent takes an engine room hit. The Japanese don't have their Type 93s, but apparently they have decent torpedo tech. All right, we're getting some hits in. Hits on the destroyer with our secondaries, and what? Come on, really? Well, rip. I thought I was out of... I could have sworn I was off axis for a torpedo shot, but apparently not. Independence is unlikely to make it. Yeah, Independence is going to sink. I think. Well, we've limited some flooding. We'll see if we limit before we lose all flotation. I don't know. This is bad. This is very bad. Yep, Independence going to sink. Unless we get really lucky in our flooding limited. Really lucky in our flooding limiting. Yep. All right, well, this was a bit of a disaster. At least we can go back down here and destroy the convoy. Oh, it looks like they all sank anyway. Whoops, wrong division. Right division. There's more stuff over there. Okay. Whatever. So just, but it is the flag now because the flagship is sinking. Jeepers creepers. Sure thing. All you're doing is picking up survivors. Sure, you can stop in the middle of combat and do that. Can I make this the flag now? Please? Okay. Good. Ooh boy. Well, you remember at the start of this, I said I was worried that they were a bit obsolete, but then I looked at Japan ships and I was like, they'll be fine. But what I didn't count on is that even though they're fine compared to their capital ships, they have modern torpedo tech. So, because this battle took place in effectively night conditions, we got super close to those destroyers. Land target. All right, I guess they all went into port. Oh, right, land target. Yeah, that was bad. That was very bad. Lose 1 prestige. Okay. All right, so we'll build a 31 knot battlecruiser with a 6-inch deck. I feel like more secondaries are the answer, given what just happened. Oh, it doesn't have enough TDS, that's why. All right, let's pull back to 30 knots. And a few more shells. All right. let's go up in tonnage until we break things. All right, so that seems to be the local maxima. All right, we could put 18-inch guns on. But I don't really see why, because 6.7 inches there and 28 inches there. Better penetration and not that much worse deck penetration. Max range 33,000 yards, 37,000 yards. Yeah, we might as well stay with the 16s. The shells would do more damage, but not that much more damage, I don't think. I guess we might as well do 32 knots. All right, I guess we can have a 7-inch deck. All right. So I guess we will actually build a new class instead of just more Princetons. $10 million. All right, so we've laid down an actually good ship. It has 4,000 tons to spare. There. All right, so 27 knots is the best we can do. Aw, our yards just can't build it yet. Oh well. I guess 72,000 tons is a bit much. But this is the ship we will build eventually. 68,500. I guess if we take the ammunition down to about where the other one was. It's probably fine. All right, so we could also lay down one of those, but we don't have the money. So I think we're going to call it quits right now. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.